हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गायै नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणी निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरं भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ॐ नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम। हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakurya Ma Brahma Nirakarot अनिराकरणमस्त्व निराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। हरि ओम। We'll chant from the fourth mantra. Tam ched bruyuhu asmin चेदिदं ब्रह्मपुरे सर्वं समाहितं सर्वाणि च भूतानि सर्वे च कामाः यदेतज्जरावाप्नोति प्रध्वंसते वा किं ततो अतिशिष्यत इति स ब्रूयात् नास्य जर्या एतच्चीर्यति न वधेनास्य हन्यत एतत् सत्यं ब्रह्मपुरम् अस्मिन् कामाः समाहिताः एष आत्मा पहत पाप्मा विजरो विमृत्युः विशोको विजिगत्सो अपिपासः सत्यकामः सत्यसङ्कल्पः यथा ये वेह प्रजा अन्वाविशन्ति यथानुशासनं यं यम् अन्तम् अभिकामा भवन्ति यं जनपदं यं क्षेत्रभागं तं तम् एव उपजीवन्ति. So in this 8th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, the teacher points out the space within this body. Our body is like Brahmapura, the kingdom of Brahma. And the heart is the palace, and the space within the heart, we have to inquire and find out what is this space. And the space within the heart is not small, it is very subtle. Subtler than this Bhutakash is Chittakash. And subtler than Chittakash is Chidakash. Means the outer elemental space is also very vast. But subtler than this space is the space of our Antakkarana. Because that Antakkarana can accommodate this outer space also. But subtler than the space of Antakkarana, the Chittakash, is the Chidakash, the space which is Brahma. Brahma itself is indicated as space. So the disciple may have this question that what happens when the body becomes old and the body gets destroyed, then the heart will also get destroyed and the space within the heart will also get destroyed. And all that is there in the space will also get destroyed. So the teacher, if the disciple has this question, the teacher should reply in this way. So that is said in the fifth mantra which we are saying. Ki sa bruyat, the teacher should tell the disciple or disciples कि अस्य जरया एतद् न जिर्यति, that this Chidakash doesn't get old, means it doesn't become old when the body becomes old. The age of the body doesn't affect this Chidakash. See, the body and this world is within the framework of time. Time affects all that we see in this world. Time is also an expression of this world, and everything is affected by time. See, time by itself we cannot see. We can experience the world of 5 elements, Even the space cannot be seen with our senses, and time also cannot be seen with our senses. But seeing the world and the changes which are happening in the world, we can infer space as well as time. From the moment of the sun, the moon, which we observe from Earth, we can infer the time. And from the objects which are there in this world, we can infer space. So all objects of this world are affected by time. And in fact, the scientist Albert Einstein and all has proved that the speed of the observer or the speed affects the time. If a person travels in space at a very high speed, almost as close as the speed of light, etc., then the time will move slow for that person. And those who are on earth, the time moves in a different pace. So the time also gets affected by the matter. The matter affects time because they are all part of this world. Matter, space, and time are part of the world. But the whole world is expression of Brahma. And Brahma doesn't get affected by the world, by the changes in the world. Brahma doesn't get affected by the movement of time. The time cannot touch Brahma. Therefore, in time when the body becomes old, Brahma doesn't become old. Chidakash doesn't become old. So, sa bruyat na asya jaraya etat jiryati. By the old age of body, the Chidakash doesn't become old. And na vadhena asya hunyata. And if the body is killed, if it is destroyed, Chidakash doesn't get destroyed. See, even the space, the outer space, is so subtle that no weapon can destroy this space. See, with our powerful weapons, we have the capacity to destroy. We have a lot of human beings have invented and discovered a lot of destructive weapons. And nowadays we have these nuclear weapons which has got the capacity to destroy large cities with all the beings in it within no time. But however powerful our weapons, they cannot destroy space. We can pollute air, but space remains untouched. So even the outer space is so very subtle and remains indestructible. So what to talk about the space of Brahma, Chidakash? So Chidakash doesn't get destroyed with the destruction of the body. Etat satyam. And this Chidakash is Satyam. It is unchanging existence. It is existing without change. So Satyam means changeless existence. That is the expression of that Brahma. It expresses, as I said last time also, that one Brahma expresses as Satyam and Asatyam. Satyam means changeless existence and Asatyam means changing existence. And this changeless existence is the Kshetrajna, and the changing existence is Kshetra, the world. Or the changeless existence is the seer, the witness, and the changing existence is what is seen, the observable world. So, etat satyam, that Brahma is satyam. It is supremely unchanging, pure existence. Brahmapuram asmin kamaha. So, which is there in this Brahmapura, this Chidakash. Asmin kamaha samahita. In this Chidakash is placed all the kamas. The entire universe is in this Brahma. All the kamnas are there in Brahma. All are established, placed in Brahma. Because there is nothing outside Brahma. Everything is in that Brahma itself. And Esha Atma, and this Brahma is Atma. That Brahma, which is the very source of this entire creation, is our own self. So what we experience as I, what is called a Kshetrajna, which is Satyam, which also doesn't change, that Atma is Brahma. In Mandukya Upanishad also, the teacher points out this world, points out everything as Om. Om iti tat aksharam idam sarvam. Everything is Om. Then everything is pointed out as Brahma. And that Brahma is pointed out as this Atma. I am Atma, Brahma. Same thing is indicated here. What is conveyed as Chidakash is our own Atma. Esha Atma. And this Atma is Apahata Papma. It is free from Papa. When we say free from Papa, means it is free from Punya also. Because Punya as well as Papa are related to each other. When we follow the path of dharma, we acquire Punya. But if we do some adharma, then we acquire Papa. But we can do dharma as well as adharma only when we identify with the body, mind, and consider ourselves as the doer. So when we have the sense of doership, we identify with the activities of the body, mind, and we become the doer of actions. So sometimes we follow the path of dharma, sometimes we do some adharma. So dharma and adharma are there only when there is this sense of doership, and the sense of doership is there due to ignorance only. Actually, I am not a doer. That actual nature of the self we experience when we get detached from our body, from the mind, and that happens in deep sleep. So, in deep sleep, I am not a doer. I come to understand that I am not a doer, I am not an enjoyer, I am not a knower. Because this doership, knowership, enjoyership is only with respect to the upadhis. And I actually start considering myself as the knower, doer, enjoyer when I falsely identify with these upadhis, when I wrongly identify with the upadhis. So apahata papma, one whose all papa is destroyed, there is no papa in Atma, hence there is no punya also, hence there is no dharma and there is no adharma in that Atma, in me. Vijaraha, Atma is free from old age. As I said, the time doesn't touch the Atma, time doesn't touch it. Therefore, again I say that whenever we go and experience this Atma pure in deep sleep, there is no time touches us there. Time doesn't reach there. So even as a little child, we had gone to sleep, and now when we go to sleep, we experience the same Atma. The moment of time doesn't touch it. Just like we watch a movie on the screen, in the movie we can experience the passage of time. The hero is born, he grows, he becomes a young person, he grows old. Within that 2 or 3 hours of the movie, we see so many changes happening, but the screen behind doesn't undergo any change. It remains a the time scale of the movie doesn't affect the screen. Similarly, the time doesn't affect I, that Atma. I am not affected by time. I am Sat Shri Akal, pure existence, complete prosperity, and beyond time. So Vijaraha, and hence Vimrutyuhu, devoid of death. There is no death for Atma. Atma doesn't die. Vishokaha, there is no shoka for the Atma. Shoka means grief. Grief is experienced when we lose something, when we miss someone, when something which is very dear to us or someone who is dear to us is dies or goes away. We experience that grief. So grief is nothing but a type of emotions which happen in the antakarna. And when those emotions happen, I am really the witness of those emotions. But due to ignorance, I identify with those emotions and I think they are mine. I am unhappy. Actually, I am not unhappy. There are unhappy thoughts, there are unhappy emotions. Just like on the screen, we see the movie, and if there is lot of fire in the movie, that fire doesn't touch that screen. If there is water in the movie, that water doesn't wet that screen. If there is lot of dust and dirt in the movie, it doesn't make the screen dirty. In the same way, I, the Atma, is not affected by whatever happens in the world. So there is no shoka, there is no grief for that Atma. We have seen in the previous chapter also, Naradji had a lot of grief, and when he came to gain that self knowledge, he came to understand his own self, which is beyond all grief. He transcended all grief. So Vishokaha, Vijighatsaha. Vijighatsaha means free from hunger. Hunger is there for the body, for the for the for the pranas. We feel hungry, and when there is that hunger, then we eat to satiate that hunger. Yeah. But Atma is not touched by hunger. There is no hunger for Atma. And there is no thirst also for the Atma. Apipasaha. There is no pipasa for Atma. See, such a amazing nature of this Atma, which is our own self. Yes. Our own nature is so very wonderful and so very amazing. And unfortunately, due to ignorance, we keep experiencing sorrow, pain, grief, fear. So, the only way to transcend all this grief, sorrow, pain, fear, etc., is to recognize our own self, realize our own self. There is no other path. Na anyak pantha vimuktaye. There is no other pantha, there is no other path for moksha than to know our own self. So apipasaha satyakamaha. That Atma alone is expressing in this universe, in our body, in our mind, recognizing that Atma. If we recognize our self properly, and if we also understand the nature of this world, that this world also essentially is Brahma. If that understanding happens, then we become free even while alive. It's called Jivan Mukti. Even when the body is living, even when the mind is functioning, the enlightened person is free. And the most interesting thing happens in case of an enlightened person. The enlightened person becomes the master of his body, mind, and the universe. the enlightened person becomes the master. Therefore, an enlightened person has full control over the body, mind, senses, etc. So, whatever thought comes, whatever if a desire comes in the mind of an enlightened person, then that desire gets fulfilled. By itself, the enlightened person doesn't have any desire. See, in Bhagavad Gita also, Bhagavan says, he gives the lakshana, the characteristic of an enlightened person in the second chapter, कि प्रजहाति यदा कामान सर्वान् पार्थ मनोगतान् आत्मन्नेवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितः प्रज्ञस्तदुच्यते. A sthita prajna is one from whose antakarana all the kamnas have disappeared, they have gone away. He doesn't have any kamna. And he is completely content in himself. But when someone comes and interacts with an enlightened person and prays to the enlightened person, then a thought may come in the mind of that enlightened person. Suppose I approach an enlightened master, do namaskar, and request the master to bless me, to make me free of all sorrow or pain. Then that request enters the mind of the enlightened person, and he just thinks that let there be no sorrow for this person. And when that thought comes in the enlightened person's mind, then that happens. It becomes true. And that is the beauty and the greatness of enlightened masters. They themselves may not have any desires, but out of compassion for others, when some desire happen in their antakarana, then that gets fulfilled. This happens to a certain extent even in case of other people who are good people, elderly people. Like we do namaskar to our parents, our grandparents, and they give ashirvad, then that ashirvad comes true because their antakarana is very pure. They don't have any desires. And they just say that, okay, let this happen. For example, the grandson has got an exam, he is going to give his mathematics exam. So before leaving, he goes and does namaskar to his grandmother and tells her, please give me ashirvad. I am going for my exams, mathematics. Grandmother has not studied any mathematics or anything. She just says that, okay, let all be well with you. May your exam go good. May you be able to face all the problems efficiently. She just gives ashirvad. And it happens. Everything goes well. That is the power of Ashirvad. Before the Mahabharata war began, Yudhishthira approached Bhishma Pitamaha. He did namaskar to Bhishma Pitamaha and said, the war is about to begin. Please give me Ashirvad that I become victorious. Bhishma Pitamaha is in the opposite camp, and Yudhishthira is asking for Ashirvad from him. And Bhishma Pitamaha, out of his compassion and wisdom, he gives that Ashirvad. Ki Vijayi Bhava, may you be victorious. And with the Ashirvad of Bhishma Pitamaha, the Pandavas became victorious. That is the power. It's so amazing. And that is what is conveyed here, ki Satya Kamaha. Satya Kama means whatever Kama comes. Generally it doesn't come, but in case if some Kamna comes, then it comes true. It happens like that. And especially with Ishvara, with Hiranyagarbha, with Vaishvanara, they work for the welfare of the entire creation. Otherwise, they are enlightened beings. Hiranyagarbha is enlightened, is a Jivan Mukta. But for the welfare of the whole beings, creates the world, sustains the world, and finally dissolves the world without having any personal kamana. So Satya Kamaha, Satya Sankalpaha, even their sankalpa, their will, is Satya, means it is unfallible, infallible. It comes true. Whatever sankalpa comes to their mind, then that sankalpa happens. With whatever sankalpa, even Ishvara, when he takes avatar with a particular sankalpa, then that sankalpa gets fulfilled. In Ramayana, all the Devtas, they approach Brahmaji, and Brahmaji along with the Devtas, they pray to that Supreme Brahma that please protect us. This Ravana and all the Rakshasas are creating so much havoc in the world, and nobody can destroy them, nobody can control them. So you only please protect us. So when they pray to that Supreme Brahma, they hear Akashvani. The sound comes from space. And Bhagwan tells them that yes, I will take avatar. I will be born as the son of Dasharath Maharaj. I will be born along with all my expressions and all my Shakti, and I will destroy these Rakshasas and establish dharma and protect all of you. So this sankalpa he took, and that sankalpa came true. Bhagwan actually took avatar, destroyed the Rakshasas, and protected the good people and established dharma. So that's called Satya Sankalpa. So that Atma is Satya Sankalpa. यथा हि एव इह प्रजा अन्वाविशन्ति यथानुशासनम् यम यम अंतम अभिकामा भवन्ति यम जनपदम यम क्षेत्रभागम तम तम एव उपजीवन्ति. And all this we can experience when we directly experience our own self. Shankaracharya writes कि यथा उक्त लक्षण एव आत्मा विज्ञेयः. This atma of this lakshanas, of these characteristics have to be recognized, have to be realized. And how to realize this? Gurubhyah शाश्वतः आत्म संवेद्यतया च स्वराज्य कामैः. With the help of Guru and with the help of the Shastras, because Guru is one who revealed the real significance of the Shastras. The Shastras mean the Upanishads. Vedanta is the praman to realize our own self. But how to understand Vedanta? We can understand Vedanta only through a Guru. By ourselves, we will not know how to operate it. See, many people, they buy some smartphone. Suddenly, they get a lot of money and they buy a smartphone. But there are so many features and all. We may not know about it unless somebody guides us, teaches us, or we read the manual properly. Similarly, even if we go to the market and buy all the Upanishads, we will not really know what is conveyed in them without the guidance of a teacher. So, Guru Bhyaha Shastratah Atma Samvedya, this Atma has to be recognized, realized. And once we realize this Atma, we will gain this Swarajya, we will gain dominion over the entire creation. We will become the masters of, because everything is the self alone. But if we don't realize, then what will happen? Na ched vijñāyate ko doshah syaditi. If we don't realize that Atma, then what is the defect? What is the problem? So the scriptures give an example. The Shruti here in this mantra gives an example. कि यथा हि एव इह लोके प्रजा अन्वाविशन्ति अनुवर्तन्ते यथानुशासनं यथा इह प्रजा अन्यं स्वामिनं मन्यमानाः स्वस्य स्वामिनः यथा यथा अनुशासनं तथा तथा अन्वाविशन्ति. He says that if we don't realize our own self, then what is the problem? He says that just in this world, if we serve some master or some king, if we serve the master or the subjects who serve the king, then the king, out of his compassion, he gives some gifts. He gives some little power to those people. But even when one gains all these gifts and power, that person or those people remain under the command of the king only. So yam yam antam pratyantam janapadam kshetra bhagam cha avikama arthinyo bhavanti. Atmabuddhyanurupam tam tam evacha pratyantadi upajivanti iti. So whatever the king gives to these people, and wherever he appoints them, locates them, they get the result accordingly. But all the time they remain under the command of the king only. They never become independent. एष दृष्टांत अस्वतंत्र दोषम प्रति पुण्य फलो उपभोगे. So there is the dosha of being dependent. One doesn't become independent. So let me give some example. Like in this world, in a country which is ruled by some government, like our own country, we have our government, we have the president, we have the prime minister, we have the ministers. And when a particular party is ruling, then they get some benefits. They get some house to stay. They get their own security. They get other things which are given to them, vehicle, etc. So all this comes to them because they are serving the king, they are serving the people. So they get some benefits. But once that term is over, if they lose their power, then whatever is given to them is taken away from them. The house which is allotted to them is taken away from them by the government. So they are always dependent on the ruler. Similarly, those who remain ignorant, they are not independent. So we become dependent. So we do some karma and we become dependent on the devatas to give us result. If our karmas are done properly, then the devatas will give us the appropriate result. But if my past karmas are not good, then I don't get the result. We find in this world, even if a person is hard working and struggling like anything, still may not get the desired result. But other person whom it may seem that he is not putting forth much effort, but may get the desired result. So the karma and karma phala depends on the laws of karma only. So whatever we do in this world, we remain dependent on the devatas, on this law of karma, etc. We are never independent. But an enlightened person becomes free. So here in the next mantra, the teacher again gives another example to indicate that how an ignorant person remains dependent and how an enlightened person becomes free. So let us chant mantra number 6. Tad yatha iha karmajito lokakshiyate एवमेव अमुत्र पुण्यजितो लोकक्षीयते तद्य इह आत्मानम् अनुविद्य व्रजन्ति एतांश्च सत्यान् कामांस् तेषां सर्वेषु लोकेषु अकामचारो भवति अथ य इह आत्मानम् अनुविद्य व्रजन्ति Etanscha satyan kamans tesham sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. Here in this mantra the teacher says कि तत् यथा इह कर्मजितो lokah kshiyate, just as in this world, whatever we acquire through our karma, that gets lost, that gets depleted. That is the very nature of these results which we acquire through our karma. Many times we keep telling people, advising them, karma karo, do karma, put forth effort to achieve things in this world. No doubt we can achieve a lot of things in this world, but whatever we achieve is limited, and whatever we achieve gets depleted, gets destroyed, never remains same. And that is the great tragedy which we see right from childhood. People struggle. The children are made to struggle by the parents. The parents want the children to become super successful, etc., super intelligent. They will send them not only to schools but also to tuitions and to special classes so that all his talents are, are expressed, come out. So the whole childhood goes in studying, going to school, preparing for exams, again studying, and all sorts of things. And then once he becomes a young person, goes in search of some job or does some business, puts forth so much effort to acquire things. But constant struggle is required to acquire. And whatever we acquire keep on depleting, doesn't remain same. We acquired some name, fame in this world, but those name, fame also just get depleted. Even the most powerful and most popular person in this world, once certain conditions change, then their popularity, their fame, their name, everything just disappears. Nobody bothers. So tat yatha iha karma jito lokakshiyate. So that loka, that power, prestige, name, fame, wealth, prosperity, whatever we have acquired through karma, kshiyate, all of them gets lost in this world. But what about the other world? I will acquire a lot of punya and then go to some other world. If I follow the path of dharma, if I do some special rituals, if I take deep in Gangaji, if I go on Tirtha Yatra, if I do a lot of dana and dakshina and all, if I do some special ritual and acquire a lot of punya, then I will attain some higher world. I can go to Swargalok, or I can go to even Brahmalok. And there I will get all sorts of pleasures and joys and all. See, many other religions also, they keep giving this pralobhan, incentives, as though that if you do this, you will acquire a lot of punya and then you will get special treatment in the other world. You will get greater pleasures. You give up pleasures here, you will get special pleasures there. But the mantra says, just as the result which is acquired in this world get depleted, the results which is acquired in the other world also gets depleted. Evam eva amutra punyajito lokakshiyate. Those lokas which we have acquired through punya, they also get depleted and destroyed. In Gita also Bhagavan says, Kshine punyam martyalokam vishanti. Once the punya karmas are over, exhausted, then the person is born again in this world. Again he comes back to Karol Bagh or somewhere and continues with his life. Going to the same school again, studying the same syllabus again, struggling to acquire wealth and position, name, fame, and again dies to be born again. So punyajito lokakshiyate tad ya iha, and for whom this happens, tad yaha iha atmanam ananuvidya vrajanti. Without realizing the self, one who lives this world, he acquires, that jiva acquires temporary results only. Etanscha satyan kamans teshan sarveshu lokeshu akamacharo bhavati. One who has not realized that Atma which is Satyakam, one who has not realized that Atma which is Satya Sankalpa, such a person when he departs and goes to other world, he gets whatever temporary results, but he doesn't become sovereign of the whole creation. He doesn't get complete freedom. Akamacharo bhavati. Whatever results are confined to him, that only attains. And once the punya is over, comes back to square one. But on the other hand, atha ya iha atmanam anuvidya vrajanti. One who realizes the self, one who gains that self-knowledge and enlightenment, such a person, once that body gets dropped and lives, vrajanti etans just satyan kaman, and also who has recognized that Atma which is Satya, the, and who is Satyakam, one who has recognized the nature of Atma as Satyakam, Tesham Sarveshu Lokeshu Kamacharo Bhavati. He attains sovereignty over all the worlds. Whichever world he wants to attain, he can attain. Wherever he wants to go, he can go. Whatever he wants to achieve, he can achieve. He becomes master of the entire universe. An enlightened person becomes the master of this entire universe. Sarveshu lokeshu kamacharo bhavati. Therefore, one should strive to gain enlightenment rather than wasting our time perceiving some silly, stupid things in this world. One should strive to gain enlightenment, because everything else will just disappear. Nothing will remain, because that is the very nature of this world. We cannot get anything permanent in this impermanent world. It is contradictory. So one should strive to gain self-knowledge. So thus concludes this first section of this chapter. More about this we will see in our class on Friday. See, on Wednesday there is Janmashtami. So 6th September, Wednesday, Bhagwan Sri Krishna Janmashtami is there. So we will have something special, something different. We will talk about Bhagwan Sri Krishna and his teachings. We will celebrate Janmashtami on Wednesday, same time, 12 to 1. Though Bhagwan was born at night at 12 o'clock, we will celebrate Janmashtami 12 to 1 this coming Wednesday. And this class, we will continue with this class on Friday. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, listen to the pravachan again, contemplate, meditate, understand, and see you all on Wednesday. Hari. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Siya Ramchandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.